Viewers and subscribers, you're welcome back again on this platform where you get undiluted truth as we bring you the update happening in Gabon. The military leader of Gabon, General Brice Nguema, had been sworn in as the transitional leader of the country. But there are concerns raised. You need to understand that he had been sworn in. From what we've heard so far, he is planning to reform or change the constitution. That is where the worry is. And as well, there was no set date for the actual transition back to civilian rule. That is a big red flag.
Gabon's new strongman took the oath in the presidential palace in front of a packed, boisterous room of government officials, military and local leaders in Gabon's capital Libreville on Monday. General Brice Nguema was sworn in as the head of the transition less than a week after deposing President Ali Bongo, a relative of his, in a military takeover. I swear before God and the Gabonese people to loyally preserve the Republican regime, to respect and uphold respect in the transitional charter and the law, to carry out my duties for the higher interests of the people, to preserve the gains of democracy, the independence of the homeland, and the integrity of the nation's territory. Speaking to applause, General Oligui promised to return power to the people by organizing free, transparent and credible elections. However, the fact that he plans to rewrite the constitution and electoral code means that the transition period will likely take months, if not years, analysts have argued. In doing so, General Oligui has closed the door to the opposition coalition candidate who urged him to hand over power. As business as usual resumes in the capital, Gabonese remain under a nighttime nationwide curfew.
You see, in as much as we celebrate the liberation of Africans and the spread of coups, removing Western puppets as presidents in Nigeria, it will amount to a futile journey if these military leaders do not restrict themselves within the boundaries of their oath. As military, when you are being commissioned, you swore an oath to defend your constitution. And when the need arises where presidents allocate to themselves powers outside the constitution, behaving like gods, carrying about their duties with reckless abandon, corruption and impunity, with little or no regards to the rule of law, people will appreciate you if you step in to take over power. But it's expected that you give back power to the people through democratic process.
General Brice Oligui Nguema, in his speech at his inauguration ceremony, promised to return power to civilian hands and to hold credible, free and transparent elections. But he didn't say when that would be. He also said he'd be holding consultations on drawing up a new constitution for Gabon and putting that to a referendum. And he also talked about perhaps overhauling Gabon's electoral system. So, you know, that sounds like a great deal of work, which could take quite a long time. So there's no date for this transition over which he's presiding to end. But from his pronouncements yesterday, it doesn't seem like it would be a rapid affair. He did say that he would be forming a government within the coming days. We didn't get much more detail than that, apart from that he said he would be involving experienced people. He and other members of the military, which seized power toppling Ali Bongo last week, have been holding consultations with civil society, with business leaders, some members of the opposition. So they say that they're trying to include a larger number of Gabonese people rule as possible. But at the moment, there are no concrete guarantees on just when the return to civilian rule might be.
GGM Africa strongly believes and acknowledges that the democracy as defined by the people, as participated by the people, as carried along by the people, is the best form of democracy that will reflect the aspiration of the people. And as much as we appreciate these military men who have stepped in so far in some of the African countries to take over power, we expect them to do the needful. And it is about time in Africa to put into the constitution that in the situation of recklessness, corruption, and impunity by the political class, the military has the constitutional right to step in. It should be added in different constitutions of African countries, so that these politicians that are given the trust through political or democratic elections, we know that they are, they are not the ultimate. That this issue of immunity do not really cover them. But it should also be included, in my own opinion, that any military leader should have a specific number of days or months, 90 days, 3 months, or thereabout, is enough to either conduct an election, a fresh election, to enable the people to vote in the people they want to lead them. And you go back to the barracks and continue defending the constitution and also defending the territory. Military are not trained to lead democratically. Just like we have in Gabon. Nguema is not the best person to lead Gabon because of his ties with Ali Bongo, he being a cousin. So people have seen it as family tussle for power. It's a family affair. It's still the same, family affair. But keeping that aside, we expect Brice Nguema to quickly conduct a fresh election if he will not hand over power back to the rightful winner of that election. Because I expected them to, when they grab power, what is expected of him was to simply look at what was being tabled before the tribunal, or what the agitations are, the flaws. If it necessitates cancelling the election and conducting a fresh one, fine. If it is a clear winner case, he should have simply plan for the transition of power to the rightful winner, so that the government can continue in their democratic running of their affairs without the imposition of the West. That is what I believe. Africans should be given the opportunity to choose their own leaders through democratic process, which they are going to be involved with. The military dictatorship will only do things and create laws. Imagine Nguema changing the constitution, perhaps making room for himself to come back as a political leader. We have seen that happen over time. We don't want that to continue. Power, when you test it, it is so sweet and it is hard to relinquish it. So in order to avoid this, I think democracy in Africa should be redefined, and political players should think for the future and not for themselves now. And that is what I'm bringing to you. Help me spread this message across African people to raise their consciousness, so that we balance these things that happen in Africa, so that what we see as revolution will not turn around and become a very big nightmare hanging over our neck. Help me share this video. What is your thought about this? If this reflects your opinion, share it to everywhere, wherever you belong, wherever you are coming from, whether any country that you belong or you come from, share it to your people at various platforms. People need to be awoken. That is the mandate of GGM through this platform, BVI Channel 1. Good governance in Africa is a must, and it can only be guaranteed with having the right people in power, and that people accessing power through the people, because the people has the ultimate power. That is what we are preaching, and that is the revolution we are bringing to the table. Anyone against it is against the liberation and the progress and development of African nation. I believe you believe in this message. Help me share this video, drop a comment on the comment section, and if you want to be getting the truth unbiased, hit on the subscription button for more notification. Bye bye for now.